here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Now, of course, the path. Now, there's two things here. When I kind of go back to back here, two things here. Giants' path to the playoffs has long odds. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can certainly see that. Now, so this one here is the path to the playoffs, and then the next thing I'm going to bring up is their shots is even longer than this. But I'm not talking about going to the Super Bowl. The next one, just talking about here, straight up talking about just going to the playoffs, right? All right, this is from, I guess, Athlon Sports. The Giants' path to the playoffs has long odds despite a big offseason. Giants upgraded a quarterback and added several high-level contributors. It might not be enough to climb in a tough NFC East. Giants were planning to spend in free agency, and the third pick of the draft were favorites to win the offseason. They made a solid effort upgrading at the sport's most important position, securing a franchise quarterback and adding more talent to an impressive defense. Russell Wilson bringing the Giants from bad to below average at quarterback is pivotal to keeping the defense competitive, and adding edge rusher Abdul Carter makes the pass rush perhaps the league's most potent. So, signing Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland added athleticism and ball skills to a secondary that needed both. General Manager Joe Shane completed the defense, especially after drafting defensive tackle Darius Alexander. And the ground game is more well-rounded with running back Scatterboo. Oh, yeah. Optimism is in the air in East Rutherford. Huh? You can just smell the optimism, right? Then the schedule dropped. Yipper. And fans were reminded that other teams could get better too. Absolutely. You always kind of think, wow, hey, we got better. Everybody else got worse. We got better. Well, that's not the way it usually goes. Or sometimes that's not the way, especially the other 31 teams don't kind of think that. Almost every other team out there is saying, oh, we got better. So. And almost everyone on the schedule had an advantage at quarterback over the Giants. So that's not good. Subsequently, the Giants' path back to the playoffs has long odds despite their big offseason. In Bleacher Report's exploration of how each team can make the playoffs, New York needs the rest of the division to stumble. Prescott fails to do that. Fails to return to his 2023 form. Jaden Daniels suffers a sophomore slump, and the Eagles encounter a Super Bowl hangover while Russell Wilson rediscovers some of his old magic. They wrote. So I'm not sure if all that's going to happen. We got to find a way to beat the Cowboys. I mean, it's just, that's plain and simple. I mean, if we can't beat the Cowboys at least once, I mean, oh my God, what are we doing? What are we freaking doing? Right? It's going to be tough to beat the Eagles. Very tough. Now, we went toe-to-toe with the Commanders last year, without question. If we had a kicker that one game, could have, should have won that game. But if we could have, should have won that game, we would have moved back in the draft, and we may not have Abdul Carter. So it might have worked out well for us, right? Unfortunately for the Giants, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. And, the Eagles lost. They did lose. They lost some guys in free agency. Okay, but they had a very good draft. They have a very stacked roster. So I mean, I don't know if you want to say they came down to earth a little bit, maybe. But I mean, when the gap is this big between us, and it came back maybe a little bit. But their offense is really good, and their defense is really good. So they also got lucky last year. Hey, to their credit. Congratulations, good, because they were very, very healthy, right? Giants were not. They stayed healthy. Giants, not that the Giants ever would have beaten them, but Neighbor's not happy at all. He'll never admit it. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl. The Cowboys are poised to rebound, and the Commanders are living the life New York hopes to live, riding the tide of a franchise quarterback to contention. And a lot has to fall in New York's favor without the offensive star power to threaten defenses. Well, we got one. Right? Unfortunately, we had two. And we got, or as they say, like headache players or whatever you want to call it. We got Malik Neighbors. We could use another one without question. The problem was we had another one and we let him go to somebody else. Now, if Saquon went to Jacksonville, if he went to New England, if he went to the Chargers or something like that, okay, right? But no, he had to go to the Eagles. Best offensive line in football, pretty much, and right, we saw what happened. When you got somebody, once again, live and learn, right? Shane's learning, big time, right? But you need weapons, right? And when you only got one weapon, I'm not saying the other guy's stink. I'm not saying that, but when you got one real good guy, you can use another one to go with him, right? And we had two, but didn't want to sign him. They want to spend $15 million for our running back. Giants are currently listed at 2,500 to 1 to win the NFC East and 650 to plus 650 to make the playoffs, the latter being the second longest odds in the sport. So they got the second longest odds in the sport of trying to make the playoffs. New York's credit, Wilson can run hot, winning 6 of his first 7 starts in 2024. Now the thing was last year, he ended against some bad teams. I'm sorry, he ended against really, really good teams, but he started off hot, right? Steelers did very, very well. Unfortunately, when things started going wrong, like I forgot we lost, like the last 5 games, I think it was, for Pittsburgh. They want to get some very good teams. Let's say 2024, 2-0-2-4. Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, now, of course, we know they lost the playoff game, and Tomlin, he hasn't won a playoff game in quite some time. Although all he does is win. All he does every year is take his team to the playoffs. He can't seem to win any playoff games. Okay, so the final 5. Yeah, my God, they lost. They played the Eagles. They played the Ravens twice. They played the Chiefs, and then they lost a tough game to the Bengals. Right. So they played some very tough teams. Very, very tough teams. Right. So he ended the 5 games in a row he ended that they lost. There's some tough teams there. Very, very tough teams. Wilson can run hot, winning 6 of his first 7 starts in 2024. Barring that magic, the Giants season will be more about playing meaningful games in December, not in January. After last season's disaster, that would still be a win. Yeah, if the Giants can get, whatever, you don't want to be 3-10. If you head into December with whatever, like 5 games left, you still have some type of a mathematical shot, okay, that would wind up being a win. We'll have to wait and see. Also be interesting to see is if and when the time comes to pull the plug on the season. If and when the time comes to pull the plug on the season. As I mentioned this before, the Giants pulled the plug, in 2004 with Eli, and they were 5-4. Right? They played 9 games. They still had 7 games left to go in the season, and they were 5-4. They were in a playoff hunt, and they pulled and it was like, they're pulling the plug on the season. So, yeah, and that's one of those tricky kind of situation things, because pulling the plug on a season, when you got veteran players in there, they give their heart and soul, and they want to, win. They're out there playing hard out to win and all of that. And basically, you're going in there and telling them, now we're putting a rookie quarterback in there where the season's over with. That's a tricky situation. So you got to be careful when you do that. But so the Giants have, according to the betting odds, have the second worst odds at making just making the playoffs now.